is Nikki again from SMR Congress 2014. With me, joining me now, I have Vanessa from Coca-Cola and I have Tobias from BrainJuicer. So starting out, just to ask one of the questions that we're interested to hear from you guys about, which also relates to the theme of the conference. And is also very related to what you talked about. In your presentation, you talked about how you had heard a presentation from BrainJuicer in 2011, and that sparked something inside of you. So I wanted to kick off by asking you guys a little bit about what does inspire you. What did inspire you about that, and what inspires you in general?
So if I go to the exact question that you had, which was like about sitting in the audience and watching that, and what inspired me is that it was looking at things from a new angle. And so when you see somebody coming at something from a new angle, whether it's a child or whether it's like somebody from a different culture, then it kind of inspires you to kind of want to learn a little bit more about it. And so BrainJuicer was coming at big data research from a new angle. And so it was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. So I guess for me, it's like when you see things coming at it from a different angle, that becomes kind of inspiring for me, at least. I don't know about you, Toby, but.
You know, actually, for me, I find chaos is actually quite inspiring because I don't actually fully believe in chaos. There's always actually stuff that goes on that, I mean, I'm sure there's chaos all in the mathematical sense, but if you look at sort of life on the human Earth, you know, stuff is barely completely random, there are underlying patterns, and I think it's really inspiring to see this stuff and then just like, I cannot wonder, like, what is it, what drives the stuff to actually behave the way it does, and so I don't know, chaos actually inspires me.
So the next thing I wanted to ask you guys about is, I mean, obviously the message that you guys had in your presentation, which is about, there's a lot of messages, but I think for me the underlying message was about how important it is to be really clear about expectations and to communicate clearly so that everyone can be on the same page. Why did you guys feel like it was important to talk about that at this event? Because you did say almost everybody in the room is probably affected by this very situation. So what made you guys want to talk about it?
To be absolutely honest, it was me who wanted to talk about it, and I basically roped BrainJuicer into basically saying we're going to stand up on the stage and talk about how that project failed. And I think that was, I said it a couple of times on the stage, but it's very courageous for an agency who's trying to sell on how good they are and that they can solve your problems to actually admit that they may have failed. And so, you know, I phoned the team up at BrainJuicer and I said, this is what I want to do. And the reason I wanted to do it is because I've worked on the agency side as well. And I've been through it as well. We're working until 2 a.m. to try to get something over the line, and it doesn't quite work, and it's just frustrating, and it's frustrating for the agency, and it's frustrating for the client, and it's not fun. And work should be fun.
Right.
And you know, and the relationships that we're having together with our agencies, we should be in partnerships. And somebody asked me out in the hall about what do I think is the best kind of partnership, and it's kind of like a marriage, where we actually got a contract. And there'll be times where we'll piss each other off, and we'll be able to call bullshit. We'll say, "Hey, you farted," right? You know, and we'll still be able to be friends.
Right.
You know, so I think that's for me, which was, you know, why it was important was that nobody's wanted to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk at these kinds of events that we fail, and it's important to fail. Actually, that's how you succeed in the end. And so. You know, I hope that everybody kind of was not too stunned by the fact that it wasn't a best practice and a best methodology. It was more of a worst practice. But I tell you, my team and myself personally, we've learned a lot from it.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why I felt it was time for us to stand up as clients, at least, and say, you know what, clients do behave badly. It's not always the agency's fault. Sometimes it is our fault. And we need to take a really good hard look at ourselves.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think for me, like, as soon as Vanessa called and said that's what she wants to talk about, I actually was super excited because I felt like that's something I always wish we could be talking about, but it seems like a weird subject to just bring up on our own. And I just felt so relieved because I think, like, there is this big frustration elements that many projects have, and a lot of this really comes just with this, you know, because we are not working together really often. You know, there's always the client with the agency, we sort of muddle while, you know, little worlds, you know, think it's all going to be okay in the end, but I mean, so often it is okay in the end, but you never like reach what you could actually do. You know, if you work together as a partner, that's actually when you could like really achieve breakthrough like solutions or ideas or whatever it is that you're trying to find out for, like, you know, for the clients. And it just seems like such a wasted opportunity that we just don't talk more often.
And I think also I'd add that if we as the industry want to move forward, we can't just expect the agencies to work off on their own, developing the new techniques and the new thinking by themselves and taking all of the risk. Of course, they want real projects to try things out on. And so we also need to be open to be doing that. But when you're using a new tool or a new technique, of course there's a risk that it's not going to quite work out.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, as long as we're both aware that we're taking the risk together, I think we can get somewhere.
Right.
But if we want to move the industry forward, we really do have to think about that, because they can't just do it off in their own little petri dish until it's perfect and then bring it to us, because you know that's not how other industries work, right? There's always beta testing and things like that, where people, real consumers, get to try the new beta test of an app or something like that. Well, why don't we have that kind of mentality in research, and why do we get annoyed with the idea of beta testing? So, you know, for me, I think that's the other message, is, you know, we need to loosen up a little.
Yeah, that's a great point. It actually leads me to my next question, which is, it sounds like you guys both got a lot of learning, and probably not just the two of you individually. I'm sure both of your teams benefited from this experience quite substantially. Does it change now how you, I guess this is more directed at you, does this change how you evaluate new tools? You know, whether it's BrainJuicer or another agency, and they come to you and they say, hey, we've got this great thing and I bet it can help you. Do you change now how you look at the idea of a new tool, or how you evaluate whether or not it answers your questions?
I'm gonna, I live in Japan, as you know, so I'm gonna open the kimono a little here. My team now has a part of our budget, which is called new tool development. And so it's actually a line item in my budget that has money set aside to try new tools and maybe fail.
Wow.
So it's not like we're doing it, you know, they're real business problems and they're real questions, but you're not having to use part of your other budget to do it. It's my budget, it's Vanessa's budget, we're going to try new tools. So that's kind of a change that's come about, to sort of say, unless we realize that, you know, we need to take the pressure off a little, we won't try new things. Because, you know, we still have to deliver great quality. Now that allows us to pilot things in parallel, where you might be doing the old way but trying a new way. But you've got to have that mentality to create that. So for all of you guys out there, you now know that I actually have a little budget for trying new tools. So I don't know if I'm going to open the floodgates or not now.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah, proceed with caution. Sorry, team. You're going to get like 10 million emails.
So my last question is, and I know it's early, we're on day one, we're not even at the halfway point yet because we haven't eaten lunch yet, but is there anything that stands out to you about this event that you've noticed, something that's been particularly interesting, or a particular vibe that you're getting that you're liking?
Well, you had the lady who rowed across the ocean. I mean, I don't know how you're going to add to that, so I don't know. That was just amazing. And I think she was such an amazing presenter too. I think that's the thing, because, you know, I was about to get ready to sort of present, and just like seeing her sort of as an inspiration how to do it properly was like such a cool sort of thing to get this thing started. And considering how early it is, that's probably all I got.
Did that make you more nervous or less nervous seeing such a great presenter?
Oh, it wrecked me. I mean, I was like, crap. What are you going to do now?
Well, you did great, for the record.
Yeah, I think looking at the agenda, and then also going through things like the keynote speakers, there's an incredible balance. Like a 14-year-old, it's, you know, I'm going to send a message to my son going, you know, 14 years old, he's running his own companies.
No pressure.
But I think that, you know, I've been to a number of SMR events. I think the fact that we're actually getting outside of our industry, that we're getting outside of like the typical keynote speakers, which typically would come from the advertising agency or a big name brand or something like that. We're actually getting just different adjacencies to inspire us. I think that I think I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
And lunch.
Me too. We're hungry. That's it for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.